is for you, Kings fans, wherever you may be. All the frustration and disappointment of the past is gone. The 45-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2025-26 season. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button and notification bell so you know every single time we post a video, you're home for LA Pro Basketball and LA Sports. Had some big LA Sports events today, and one of them is obviously the Clippers and the Kings, but the highlight was the UCLA championship win. I was able to go and film some videos outside of Rocco's, which is like the one bar. I think it's like that in Barney's and Westwood Village for UCLA students. Does not compare to Amherst, Massachusetts, duh. But you know, my dad and my sister went to UCLA. Always been a fan of everything they do, and amazing moment. I was able to film some of that. Go check out that video. It's on the channel now. Shout out to my member Daniel Barry, says happy Sunday, sup peoples. But it was awesome to see that. It was a cool scene in Rocco's for a bit. And shout out to Lauren Betts, Corey Close, and UCLA for getting their first title in women's basketball since 1978. Before the NCAA was even, NCAA women were even a thing. It was I forget what the league was called, but amazing for them. So congratulations to all of them. And a historic moment in LA sports. And now for the Clippers against the Sacramento Kings. Big game, must-win situation. Needed to get it done because we only have 5 games left. Portland is right on our tails. Every single game matters right now. And Sacramento in this game was without Russell Westbrook, was without, obviously, Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine as well. So there is absolutely no reason why this game shouldn't be a blowout. Like, it shouldn't even be close. And it wasn't. 138-109. Before the game, a starting lineup change was made. We went back to the starting lineup of DJ, Chris Dunn, Kawhi, Darius Garland, and Brook Lopez instead of John Collins in place of Chris Dunn. And I think the reason for that was it didn't feel like these last couple of games we felt Chris Dunn the way we normally feel Chris Dunn on the court. I don't know if it's that his energy to start games is kind of game-changing, or that he just wasn't getting into the flow of things off the bench. But one thing I can tell you, one thing that definitely played a part in the starting lineup change was it felt like with Darius Garland and John Collins out there, we had 2 below-average defenders in at once. And that was a little bit hard to counter, you can say. Like, it was hard to work around, especially when Brook Lopez is your anchor. Like, with all due respect, Brook Lopez has had a pretty solid season for what it's worth defensively, but he's not like a championship, rim protector right now anymore like he was in 2021. But everyone was able to get going offensively in this game. Now, I want to say the competition, Sacramento, already the worst team in the Western Conference, missing all these guys, it means nothing. But you just want to build good habits, as the playoffs get closer and closer and we want to be a part of them. You just got to build good habits, and a win is a win, and a good performance is a good performance. NBA players are NBA players. But yeah, I think this lineup, let me just, before I even continue talking about that, let's look at the data of what we have, or the sample size that this, John Collins in the starting lineup instead of Chris Dunn has been a bad thing. So against Dallas, when we started the winning streak, we did not have Chris Dunn in the starting lineup, right? The New Orleans game, that one, Kawhi Leonard and Darius Garland didn't play the second one. The first New Orleans game was John Collins as well. Okay. So right now I'm just looking at when this started because I don't have enough off the top of my head. John Collins again, since John Collins came back. So John Collins came back in what game? Does any Clipper fan in the chat know, just to make it quicker for me? I'm like blanking what game he actually came back in. Sacramento. I feel like it was the Kings game. I think it was the Kings game that he came back. Yeah. Okay. But he didn't get back in the starting lineup yet in that game. So it had to have been after the Kings game. I think it was in the Spurs game. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So it started in the Spurs game, right? So let's say since the Spurs game, we lose against the Spurs on March 16th. We lose against the Pelicans. We were 0-2 with that starting five. Then Kawhi and Garland don't play that game at New Orleans, the second one. So we can't count that. The Dallas game he played. So we were 1-2. The Milwaukee game was Nico Batum instead of Collins. Collins didn't play that game. So still 1-2. The Toronto game, we did have Collins, and it was that starting lineup. So we're 2-2 there. Indiana on the road, 3-2 was that starting lineup. And then at Milwaukee, I believe it was as well. Yeah, 4-2 with that starting lineup. Portland, we lost that one, 4-3 there. And then against San Antonio, makes it 4-4. So we're 4-4 with that lineup, right? Since John Collins came back from injury. So I guess they feel as though, going back to Chris Dunn is the move. And honestly, I like it. We got a super chat from Trouser_J_Slacks. He says, I started following Bruins basketball after game 7 last year. Now they won the Natty. Really puts 12 years of Clipper fandom into perspective. Man, congratulations, though, brother. Yeah, it's a great day. It's a great day for UCLA fans and UCLA alumni and I guess family of UCLA alumni in my case. But appreciate the super chat, man. Any super chat will be read on live. If you remember, any single one of your comments will be read on live. If you remember, you can skip the line at post-game interviews for all the Clipper vlogs. By the way, check out my latest one, Clippers Spurs. It was a really good one. Clippers Spurs, the most recent one. It was a good one. About 200 and change away from 1,000 views. Remember, we want to get all the vlogs up to 1,000 views, just like we had last season. But yeah, and if you remember, you also are going to be entitled to a special giveaway at 25 and 50 members, one for Clipper fans, one for Laker fans. So definitely try to be a member, and we'll do a members only live once a week. I haven't been good enough about doing those, but I'm going to keep putting pressure on me for those that are members. But anyway, so yeah, we go back to the starting lineup. And to be honest with you, I like the starting lineup because what we lack in size by putting Kawhi back at the 4, I think our point of attack defense, now that Darius Garland is playing instead of James Harden, and now that we have Brook Lopez instead of Zoo, I think we might need that extra defensive protection. I don't think Darius Garland, Brook Lopez, and John Collins in the starting lineup is good enough to compete in the playoffs. But I do think Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., Kawhi Leonard, Brook Lopez, and Darius Garland can compete in the playoffs. I do, because Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. are just really solid defenders. They haven't been fantastic the last couple of games, but they're very solid defenders. And I thought in this game you saw more of, what we're used to seeing with them. And I was really on pins and needles more in this game than, any Clipper game that I can remember watching on TV. Like, I was pacing around, the TV at my grandma's house and just analyzing every defensive possession because I was actually nervous. Like, it felt like I was a kid again. And I'm like, if we lose this game, it's a disaster. It's the end of the world. And everybody knows that I've been dying to feel like that again. I've been dying to feel that kind of, like, the fandom feeling come back. I thought that was really special. And thankfully we were able to get the win. And it started out with some really tough shots made by DeMar DeRozan with a hand in his face and good defense being played, I thought, from Derrick Jones Jr. and a couple of them. And the Kings were just hot in the first half. And I don't even think we were playing horrible defense. My bad, guys. I do not even think we were playing horrible defense. But we were playing great offense. It starts with Kawhi. 13 points in the first quarter. He was getting to his mid-range. He was hitting the 3 ball. And as far as our defense, we actually did something interesting. We had Kawhi guard Maxime Reynaud so we could switch those pick and rolls because Reynaud was their best roller. And we had Brooke Lopez guard Precious Achua. And it ended up working out. I thought it was a little risky, maybe putting Lopez on Achua, given the way Achua lit us up last time, but it worked out. He was able to hold his own. Didn't feel like they attacked Brooke Lopez too much one-on-one on an island. They still just played basketball because, right now the Kings aren't trying to win. So, these younger guys are just kind of doing their thing. They're trying to just get better and test things in an NBA game setting. But as far as Lopez, when they did put him in the pick and roll, he was in drop coverage, and I thought he did a pretty decent job. But the biggest thing that stood out to me about our defense in the first quarter, which, look, we still allowed 32 points in the first, but we scored 42. Outscored them by 10 in the first quarter. Kawhi Leonard had 13 points in the first, 2 threes, was super aggressive shooting the 3 ball and just getting shots up early on in this game. 13 points in the first. Derrick Jones Jr., I thought he was active on defense early. And what the funniest part is, we scored 42 points in that first quarter, and I thought we missed a ton of wide open shots. And DeMar DeRozan was hitting a bunch of contested shots to start the game. So that was annoying. JC, when he came in off the bench, so I immediately noticed, though, that like just my eye test watching Derrick and Chris Dunn out there in the starting lineup instead of JC and Derrick, you can just see how hard it is to score. Or I don't want to say hard, but how much harder it is to score against us. I knew with the Kings shooting the way they did in the first half, like with this, roster that they had tonight that was available for them, I knew that eventually if we played this same defense, they would come back down to earth and it wouldn't last 4 quarters, especially because we're just better than them when they're healthy, let alone when they're playing like this. But that doesn't mean we're going to beat them because, as we saw when we played them at Intuit a couple weeks ago, it did not go so well. JC, when he came into the game, though, I thought he had some good, like, 6-man energy, or I guess you can say, instead of Ben Mathurin, he's the 6th man if he comes off the bench. I don't know. You can talk about it however you want, but 6th and 7th man energy with coming off the bench, getting a putback quickly and hit a pick and pop 3, and he was really, really good shooting the ball in this one, John Collins. 4 for 6 from downtown. 25 points for JC off the bench. 9 for 20 from the field. It felt like he could really be aggressive, and I loved how we threw him the ball more when he was in as a bench player, just because he's not playing alongside DG and Kawhi. It was usually one of them on the court, or in this case, in this game, there was a stretch with neither of them on the court. But yeah. I've been talking about that turnaround over his right shoulder on the left side of the court that was 10 for 10 going into this game, and he hit one in this game. So 11 for 11, and it was beautiful. He caught it, turned right away. So thought it was good to see him have such a good game, and especially off the bench, just because maybe this is the formula. Maybe we just have to embrace that Kawhi is going to play the 4 again, but it could be matchup dependent, right? If we think that size is going to be such a big issue, we could start John Collins. It's not like we have a large sample size of, any of these starting 5s. Because we've had injuries to Derrick Jones Jr. all year. John Collins then missed some games. I don't know. It's tough to say. You don't have too much of a sample size. I'd have to really look at how many games each starting lineup has played. I think, matchup dependent at the end of the day. I think we look better with Derrick Jones and Chris Dunn in the starting lineup because of our defense. But I get if we play like a second big or someone that's a big forward like Aaron Gordon, maybe we do want JC. It doesn't matter, though. We got to get there, right? So, honestly, that's not even important right now. But JC wasn't the only one that came off the bench and gave us a spark. Ben Mathurin, quick 5 points when he came in, pull up 18-footer that, I don't know. I don't love that shot, contested jumper like that for him, but he hit it and then hit a corner 3 off some good ball movement. We went 7 for 14 from downtown in the first quarter, and almost all of them were good looks. A couple of them, Kawhi took some, some tough shots that you can borderline say maybe you shouldn't have taken, but what's a bad shot for Kawhi at the end of the day? And Kawhi played the whole first quarter which I honestly liked because it showed a level of desperation that like we're really trying to win this game. So my take after the first quarter was once they cool down, we should just blow them out. But the second quarter didn't cool down. I can tell you that. But neither did we. We went on a 14-2 run that was led by John Collins, an and one dunk that made it 53-34, hit that turnaround that I mentioned, and wanted to just check how we did in the non Kawhi and DG minutes. Because here's the thing with before the game got out of hand, of course, because here's the thing. It can work against teams like this, but I don't believe, even with how well John Collins played, that we can play without DG or Kawhi Leonard if we do make the playoffs or in the play-in. We can't play without one of them on the court. We were up. So when Darius Garland came back into the game with 9:23 to go in the second, we were up 19. So we outscored them by 9 in that first half in the non Kawhi and Garland minutes. Doesn't mean shit because at the end of the day, this is the Kings without 3 starters. So it doesn't matter. We are going to need to stagger them in the playoffs. Another change in this game, and it's one that we've been calling for, and I'm happy we did it. Nico Batum did not play, coach's decision. Kobe Sanders did play alongside Ben Mathurin, Jordan Miller, and JC off the bench. Still no Isaiah Jackson, unfortunately, but I think when he plays, Kobe Sanders probably is the odd man out again. We probably shorten the rotation, but I think he could serve a purpose. 17 points, 1 assist, 4 steals, very active in the passing lanes, good rotations, no turnovers, on 5 for 8 shooting and 3 for 5 from downtown. And one of those misses was in and out, 4 for 4 from the free throw line in 20 minutes. He was a plus 14 off the bench. For all the fans, and if you've been checking out the vlogs, a lot of fans have been calling for it. For all the fans that have been asking for Kobe Sanders to get in the rotation, we look a little, I mean, it was the Kings, but we look vindicated to some degree tonight. It looked fantastic. And here's the thing, right? The case for Nico is he's taller, has longer arms, so he can switch onto more guys. It's probably better switchable versatility. And scheme-wise, he's been in the playoffs. He's had experience in big games. The case for Kobe Sanders is because 3 balls, I think right now I feel a little more comfortable with Kobe Sanders making his open 3, but it's pretty even in that department. The edge that I give Kobe Sanders is I think he gives you more energy, like running hard in transition, attacking the basket on closeouts, which Nico just won't really do, cutting to the basket, and athleticism and energy. As far as like one-on-one defense, I think you can debate it. I think Kobe Sanders has had some really good moments this season, but Nico is just he's been through wars, you know what I mean, as a pro. So I don't know. It's tough, but I do think Kobe Sanders is my overall take, though. That was just making the case for both. My overall take is that Kobe Sanders is better right now, and I think that he should be playing. And tonight was a good example of why. So in the second quarter, when the Kings did end up responding to our 19-point lead with a little 9-0 run of their own when we went cold and they started hitting again. Darius Garland, though, came into the game, had 8 points in the second quarter, hit a 3-ball. Nice little lefty floater in the pick and roll, and then an and one layup to end the quarter. Kawhi only had 2 points in the second, and he sat like half of it. Like we sat him like half the second quarter because he played the whole first, and he, just didn't get many shots up in that second quarter. We got contributions though from everyone. We scored 71 points in the first half. Chris Dunn had 7 points. Brooke Lopez was scoring. Derrick Jones Jr. had a couple of buckets. So we were getting contributions from across the board, which was nice. It wasn't just Kawhi Leonard and Darius Garland. At halftime, we were shooting 48% from 3, but they were shooting 54% from 3. So they still hadn't cooled down. They had just turned the ball over 9 times in the half compared to our 4. So part of the reason we had that separation, and we did do a good job of getting points off those turnovers. But We had 3 scores in double figures at halftime. Kawhi, Garland, and JC, who had 12 points in the first half of those 25. But finally, in the third quarter, they started to cool down. And Kawhi, DG, and Chris Dunn got the party started outright. Kawhi getting buckets, getting to his jumper. We got some stops. They started cooling down. We got in transition. Darius Garland had a bounce back shooting game. We started to create separation, and that was all she wrote. Finally, they cooled down like I said they would, and boom, we outscored them 36-20 in the third after breaking even, or almost breaking even, 29-27 in the second. We outscored them only 31-30 in the fourth for the 138-109 win in Sacramento. Nice to say it was a comprehensive W. We are now 40-38 on the season with just 4 games left. 2 more wins will get us the 15 straight winning seasons. 1 more win will get us the mark that Ty Lue said when we were 6-21. We need to go 35-20. All 4 wins would probably ensure that we get the 8th seed, which is what we need. Let's read the lines for this one. The Clippers shoot 53% as a team. They shoot 53% as a team. But the three-point disparity did end up making, or, the three-point percentage did end up having a disparity in the end. 49% for us. We shot 20 for 41. They shot 9 for 32, which is 28%. And from the free throw line, they shot horrifically, 10 for 20. And we shot 20 for 21, which is 95%, which is more like the free throw shooting team that we have been all season. So we shot great from across the board, 53, 49, 95. The thing about our three-point shooting that really pisses me off, though, is it's so inconsistent. Like, one game we will shoot lights out from 3, and we'll have a stretch of shooting really lights out from 3. Then a couple of games later, we just cannot hit the broadside of a barn the whole game. It's so inconsistent. We're consistently inconsistent from 3, and that scares me. And a lot of it has to do with Collins, Derrick Jones Jr., and Chris Dunn. A lot of it, in my opinion. So, and like, it really just changes things when Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. can make shots. But how reliable is that? And I'm saying that as they're 2 of my favorite players on the team. I don't know. Turnover-wise, we had 15. They had 20. We had 29 points off their 20 turnovers, which was a big difference in the game. And we did end up winning by 29. And yeah, solid win. Individually, for them, their starting lineup was Precious Achiuwa, Maxime Reynaud, DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter, who's Anthony Carter's son, and Nick Clifford. Their leading scorer was Devin Carter with 21 points. But see, this game's like Daquan Plowden, who shot lights out against us last time. He was 3 for 9 in this game from 3. So, returning to earth. DeRozan only played 10 minutes. That was blatant tanking right there. And he was killing us in the beginning. So, I didn't even notice that. I was just so locked in. So for us, Brook Lopez played 19 minutes, gave us a nice scoring punch, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 turnover, 2 for 5 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep, and made all 4 of his free throws in his 19 minutes. He was a plus 15. Jordan Miller, solid game for him, just getting downhill, making some plays in pick and roll, getting 2 feet in the paint, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers on 5 for 6 shooting. And how about this? No free throw attempts. 3 for 3 from downtown. 3 for 3 from downtown. And that's been the weakness for Jordan. He's knocking down that 3 ball. But let's see, last 10 games, he hasn't been shooting well from it. So hopefully that'll change this. That'll change that percentage drastically. But it's nice to see him knock down those 3s. A really solid game for him. He was a plus 21 in his 23 minutes. John Collins, 25 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers on 9 for 20 shooting. He took the most shots for any player for us. 4 for 6 from 3, 3 for 3 from the free throw line in 24 minutes. He was a plus 15. I thought he was fantastic. He's my player of the game. Just the way he came in immediately and was aggressive. And I love to see that. And I love to see that the coaching staff made more of an emphasis to go to him, which I've been talking about. And again, I always make the joke that it feels like they listen to this show, but obviously they're smart. They see the data as well. And, they're where they are for a reason. Ben Matherin played 27 minutes, and he actually was a better facilitator in this game. 5 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers on 2 for 4 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3, and no free throw attempts, which is wild. But he was a plus 15 in his 27 minutes. I thought he was really solid and was actually seeing the open man and making the right play a little bit more. So I thought it was a pretty solid game for him, even though he only shot 4 times. Already talked about Kobe Sanders. 5 for 8 from the field and 3 for 5 from 3. Talk about efficient, and made all 4 of his free throws. So we got from our actual rotation bench players, not counting Omier, El Hombre Nicaragüense. 38, 55 points. No, I'm sorry. 25 from JC, 13 from Jordan Miller, that's 38. 5 from Ben, that's 43. So 60 points between those 4 guys. Not bad. 60 bench points. We'll take that. Darius Garland played just 24 minutes, but it was a really solid bounce back game for him after 2 bad games. But again, the competition's not great. 17 points, but you'll take what you can get, right? It's a confidence, it's a get his confidence back game. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers on 7 for 14 shooting, 2 for 7 from 3, 1 for 1 from the free throw line. He was a plus 10 in his 24 minutes. Solid bounce back game for DG. Derrick Jones Jr., 6 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover on 3 for 4 shooting. I think you can't really fully tell, as with a lot of games with DJ, you can't get the full grasp of his impact just by reading the box score. He was a plus 21 in his 25 minutes, and his defense was solid throughout the game and is a big part of our transition offense. And then Chris Dunn, man, I always say when he makes his open shots, he's one of the best role players in basketball. 13 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers on 5 for 6 shooting, 3 for 4 from 3, and 0 for 1 from the free throw line. He was a plus 16 in his 27 minutes. And here's what I'll say about KD, our KD. And a lot of Clipper fans, and at times you've probably heard it in the vlogs going back to last season, they feel as though when Chris Dunn starts games, it's like when Pat Bev used to start games, or Westbrook. It gives you an energy, a different type of feel. He really just having his relentless energy to begin games, it just changes things as opposed to him coming off the bench. Some players like the Lou Wills and the Jamal Crawfords really were great coming off the bench, coming into a game that had already been, broken into, and they can just come in and be their bucket getting selves. But in Chris Dunn's case, he kind of gives a different energy, to start games, that defensive intensity, that coming out of nowhere for an interception early in the game or getting an offensive rebound, things that just energize the building, energize the team. And there is an element to that as well, I think. But really solid game for Chris. And then, of course, the man that it's not possible without, having an all NBA caliber year, just depends what team, no lower than second, in my opinion. You obviously are going to get Wemby, Luka, Jokic and SGA as in the first team. It's just a matter of who's that 5th guy. But let's see, Luka, I don't know. Is he going to make it with the eligibility thing? They're going to appeal or something. I don't know. Now, again, I want to apologize to all my Laker fans that are listening about the lack of content this season. I'm just going to have to reevaluate how I do content next season, because I don't know if it's sustainable for me to watch every Laker game the way I did as a kid, or when I didn't have as many things on the plate. It sucks, because I do like watching the Lakers for knowing what's going on with both teams in LA, because it's how I grew up, and they are the talk of the town. Let's be real. Not right now over the Dodgers though, but the Lakers are the Lakers. So it's always drama in paradise. You know what I mean? With them. And it's fun to cover from a neutral perspective when I'm not as emotionally invested, but I do hope they lose every game though, with LeBron and Luka and JJ, especially with LeBron. I just hate his stance. But anyway, Kawhi Leonard, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover on 50% shooting, 9 for 18. Did not shoot super well from 3, but I thought because some of those shots were just really tough shots. 3 for 9 from downtown, made all 5 of his free throws. In 30 minutes of play, he was a plus 26, which was the best for any player in the game. And we go on to win 138-109. So now we have 78 wins. we have 4 games left. The game against Dallas that I'll be at on Tuesday, we'll get a vlog for that. That'll be my 28th game in the season. And then my 29th game, which will be tying my career high in games gone to for regular season with the 2024 season, will be against the Thunder on Wednesday. And I'm hoping that they rest some guys, but San Antonio is breathing down their necks, unfortunately. And it might be done by then. I really hope it is. I really hope it's done by then so they rest guys and we can kick the shit out of them. And then that Portland game on Friday is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Has real playoff implications or play-in implications. And then we have the Warriors on the final day. And I will not be at that game because my boys and I will be in Mesa, Arizona for our first ever traveling tournament as a program, which that'll be really awesome. But yeah, so on Portland game is also going to be Mesa, Arizona. I have to go live after it though, don't I? I don't know, but what time's our flight? I don't even check. I don't know. We're just taking it one day at a time, Clipper Nation. I hope you watched the vlog, the San Antonio Spurs vlog that I did. It was a good one. And all vlogs that have not gotten up to 1,000 views yet, check out the playlist on my playlist tab for easier access. But appreciate everybody for listening. Not a crazy night tonight, but we're back on track. We just need to, every single game counts, and I'm nervous for all of them. And it's an amazing feeling that I'm feeling nerves again as a fan. Like, it feels like my fandom has been, it's not like I lost my fandom, but I did not care if we win or lost when we had Harden. I can't even lie to you. I just didn't, because I just knew it would never lead to anything. So I do believe that things can lead to things in the future now. Sorry if that offends anyone, but who cares, right? Clipper Nation, I'm feeling positive. I'm Mr. Positive. Congratulations to the UCLA women, man, and all UCLA alumni around the world. Appreciate my members, man. I'm going to try to do a members only live this week before I go to Mesa. Appreciate everybody. Go Clips. And I'm going to do Locked On. But go check out those vlogs. Shout out Clipper Nation.